Well, students, good evening to all of you. So, guys, today we are going to discuss another topic of B.Ed, which is a levels of teaching. Right, guys? So, under this topic, levels of teaching, first of all, we should know about the teaching. What is a teaching? Right, guys? So, teaching is an interactional process, as you know that. We have already covered it. So in this process, there is an interaction among the teacher, learner, and the learning material. Right, guys? Teaching is a process by which teacher brings the student and the subject matter together. Guys, you don't have to forget the definitions which was given by the B.O. Smith. Okay, what is the definition? Teaching is a system of actions, a system of activities intended to induce learning. Right? What does it mean? It means when there is a teaching, definitely there would be a learning. Okay, guys? And characteristics or nature of a teaching. These all are the characteristics we are already covered. So that because today's lecture is the level of teaching, directly I'll come on the levels of teaching, but little bit knowledge you should have. Characteristics of the teaching. Teaching is an interactional process, matter of drawing out, causing to learn, tripolar process, well-planned activity. Teaching is an art, teaching is a science, teaching is a cooperative, teaching is a suggestive, remedial. It involves skills in guiding learning. It is a both formal and informal, right? In the last lecture of teaching and learning, guys, you can see that, all the points I have discussed, elaborately, right? Characteristics of a teacher, okay? So now I move to on the, levels of teaching. Shaurya ma'am, you can put your audio video off. Shaurya ma'am, you can put, thank you so much, ma'am. So guys, today's lecture is the level of teaching. Okay, now you have come to know about the teaching. Teaching means basically stimulating the learning power of the student, right? Teaching means causing to learn, means you have to teach such things in the class so that student can learn by themselves, right, guys? Think about, guys, when you are child, what happens? There is a, some favorite subject you have. Some have the favorite subject of English, some have mathematics, some have science. What happens when when you come back from back at the home, you start learning that particular subject. Why that subject was your favorite subjects? Have you thought about it? Why it is a your favorite subject? Because of your teacher, because of the teaching style of your teacher, right, guys? So same thing we are discussing in today's topic about the levels of teaching, right, guys? So before starting this levels of teaching, you should know that teaching is a purposeful activity. Teaching is a purposeful activity. Teaching is an intentional activity, right? Don't think that you are completing only formalities. Guys, it is a purposeful activity, intentional activity, right? Through teaching, the teacher brings a desirable change in the learner. Sometimes you are unaware, guys, when you are giving the teaching to the student. You never know that, okay, which things, student have, fit in their mind, right? Because now students makes the, teacher as an ideal. Okay, you are only thinking you are only, completing this lecture, but you are unaware that, one student is listening you very carefully, whatever you are saying that. So guys, keep in your mind, it is a purposeful activity. It is an intentional activity. So wherever, whenever you have to go for a teaching, go with the complete knowledge, right? Thinking in your mind, today I'm going to deliver this lesson. Okay, after delivering this lesson, okay, what kind of a changes can come, among the students? Development of a second line padhiye. development of a all-round personality of the learner is the final goal of a teaching and learning. This is the important line. You can underline it, even you can write it. Okay, you have the copy and pen now. Development of a all-round personality of the learner is the final goal of a teaching and learning, right? Teaching does not mean finishing your syllabus. Guys, you have to develop the all-round personality. You develop the personality of your child. You develop na? Huh? So being teacher, why you don't develop the personality of your student? Guys, teachers are the second parent. Teacher is the real image of Brahma, right? So, you know, whatever the student is, it is the reflections of the teacher, right? During teaching, an interaction takes place between an experienced person called teacher and inexperienced person called student. There is an interaction. Na? Students are inexperienced, you are experienced, right? Next line, next paragraph. Teachers teach students at 3 levels. There are 3 levels of teaching, right? This is the most important, okay? They have to keep in mind about the development stage of the learner so that desired educational objectives can be achieved. There are 3 levels of teaching. One is memory level of teaching. Second is understanding level of a teaching. Third is reflective level of teaching, right? One is memory level of teaching. Second is understanding level of teaching. Third is reflective level of teaching. Okay, we discuss one by one in detail, right, guys? So, guys, what is a memory level of teaching? First of all, you have to keep in mind this is a thoughtless level, right? It is a first and thoughtless level of teaching. It is concerned with memory or mental ability that exists in all living beings. Teaching at memory level is considered to be lowest level of teaching. It is at lowest level of a teaching. Okay. Well, if you teach like that, na, okay, you know, I make it simple for you. If you teach like that, you know, so what happens, you know, in the mind of the student, okay, you see that at this level, what happens? The thinking ability does not play any role, okay, during the teaching. Student only cram the facts. If you teach this level of a teaching, students only cram the facts, information, formulas, and laws that are taught to them. Underline this line. This is important. That are taught to them. Right, guys? So here you have come to know that students are not weak. Students are never weak in this world. Weak कौन होते हैं? Weak is only teacher. Teacher is only weak, right, guys? Because student, so it is like a clean slate, guys. Being of a teacher, you have to write. You know each and everything. Okay, you know that if you have to develop the students, you will learn on you will work on your topic. You know that you have to make your class, you know, very effective. You have to make result you are effective, right? So what happens again at this level? In this level, the teaching is nothing but learning the subject matter by rote. It was said by the Maurice L. 1967. He was an educationist. He said that in this level, only learning the subject matter by rote. Right? Malab, what it means? It means that suppose teacher has to teach. Teacher ne kya kiya? Teacher ne wo, you know, he has opened the particular topic or he has learned by, you know, rote. Hai na? You can say that cramming. And, you know, next day what happens? He comes in the class with the book and others. You know, he starts like that. So guys, what will happen? Whatever the way he has learned cramming, the same thing will come reflect in the mind of the student, right? The study material is organized and pre-planned. The teacher presents the study material in a sequential order. Memory level teaching lacks insight. If the student does not develop the insight, right? So guys, this is the not problem of the student. This is the problem of the teacher. You have seen that teacher complains that this student cannot learn, this student has a low IQ level. Actually, student doesn't have a low IQ level. Actually, teacher doesn't know how to tackle the student, right? Memory level of a teaching. Now we understand what are the advantages या merit of memory level and what are the disadvantages of this level of a teaching when we teach to the student. Okay, right? Means if we adopt such kind of this method. So in this kind of memory level of a teaching, it is a beneficial for young students only. It is a useful for the slow learner, because it is helpful for the children for learning a new concept. Teacher is free to make choices of subject matter, plan it, and can present it at will. In last, I just read all the points, and in last I conclude all the what are the merits of memory level, right? The knowledge acquired at the memory level teaching forms a basis for the future when students' intelligence and thinking is required. Memory level teaching acts as the first step for understanding level and reflective level of a teaching. It is a prerequisite for understanding level teaching, right? So, what are the advantages? He wants to say that teaching at this memory level, what happens? It is beneficial for the young students. Okay, because what happens? Teacher is free to make choices of subject matter, plan it, and can present it at will. Means at will. This is the important. In this memory level, what happens? Teachers plans himself. Means whatever he has in the mind, he wants to put into the mind of the student. He is not taking care of attitude, aptitude, interest of the student. He is not taking care of interest of the student. He is not taking care of child-centered knowledge. He is not giving that. Okay, whatever he has in this mind, according to his will, he prepare the lecture and he pour into the mind of his student, right? This is a memory level of it. Ab kya disadvantages hain iske? What are the disadvantages? Number first, not beneficial for higher classes, because higher classes students asks that unless the concept is not cleared. Dominance of teacher, dominance hota hai teacher ka isme, you cannot say that it is a democratic type of class. Okay, because whatever the teacher has in his mind, he start pouring into the mind of a student. Even वो रुकता ही नहीं है, 30 मिनट का लेक्चर होता है ना, वो 30 मिनट बोलता ही जाता है. आपने देखा होगा, क्योंकि उसको मालूम है कि when he will stop, स्टूडेंट कोई आंसर ही ना कर ले मेरे से, कुछ पूछ ही ना ले स्टूडेंट मेरे से, if the student start asking the question, वो क्या करता है, वो चलता ही रहता है ऐसे. Loss of recall and retention. My God. Loss of recall and retention. If the student's recalling power has lost, if the retention power of student has lost, so this has lost due to the teaching method of the teacher. So guys, please tell me, honestly, who is the responsible, teacher or student? Interaction level is low in the classroom. The problem of a classroom management, students don't get a chance of, it is not, coming clear. Students doesn't get a chance of self-learning, because self-learning to hai hi nahi hai isme under, memory level of a teaching, right? So that's why it is called the lowest level of a teaching. It is called the thoughtless level of a teaching. Okay. Up next, second, we understand, what is understanding level of a teaching. There are 3 levels of a teaching. One is memory level of a teaching. Second is a understanding level of a teaching. Third is a reflective level of a teaching. Okay. So now one level we have done. Up second, we are discussing what are the understanding level of a teaching. Guys, what happens in this level of a teaching means you can evaluate yourself on which level you stands, okay, during this lecture, and how you can improve, right guys? Because this is the reason it is in your syllabus. Understanding level of a teaching means understanding something is to perceive the meaning, grasp the idea, and comprehend the meaning, right? Means you have to clear your concept. Okay, once the concept is clear, no need of a cramming. In the field of education and psychology, the meaning of a understanding can be classified as seeing the total use of facts, seeing relationship, a generalized insight. The next para, the teaching at the understanding level is of the higher quality than the one at the memory level. Means it is a higher than the memory level of a teaching. It is more useful and thoughtful from the point of view of the mental capabilities. At this level of a teaching, the teacher explains the student about the relationship between the principles and the facts and teach them how these principles can be applied. As well, it enables students to have complete command over subject material. This is the important line, guys. You can underline it. Okay, when you start teaching at this level, what will happen? It will enable the student to have complete command over subject matter. If the student, they don't have the complete command over the subject matter, this is the fault of the teacher, not the student. Here I give you the result of the one research. One paper says that, one research says that if you are taking a class of a 30 students, okay, in the class of a 30 students, you are giving a lecture. Okay, what happens? 15 students, 50% class, okay, understands your lecture, 50% doesn't. Okay, kiski galti hai? This is a mistake of the teacher. In the next paper, what happens? Out of a 30 students, even the 29 students have cleared the concept given by the teacher, and one student didn't understand the concept. Again, guy, research says that this is the problem of the teacher, because teacher couldn't understand the mental level of the student, right? So this level of a teaching enable the student to have a complete command over the subject material. At this level, no cramming is encouraged. The new knowledge acquired at this level is related to the earlier knowledge gained. A generalization is made on the basis of facts, and the facts are used in the new situations, right? The third level hum karte hain. This is the most advantages iske. Okay, understanding level of a teaching. Okay, now we understand what are the advantages of this level of teaching. The same, like we did it in the memory level of a teaching. And what are the demerits of a understanding level of a teaching? Okay, the points now which I have underlined, these are the most important guys, right? So what are the advantages and merits of understanding level of a teaching? Number one, at this level of a teaching, student to make use of their thinking abilities. Arey wah, it is important. Means what is happening? Means due to your understanding level of a teaching, guys, what is happening? Students makes use of their thinking abilities. I already told you on the lecture of education, what the Swami Vivekananda has said that. Swami Vivekananda has said that education is the manifestation of the divine perfection already existing in a man or a child. Guys, बच्चे के अंदर सारी चीजें अवेलेबल हैं. Okay, you are the teacher. You have to draw out these all things from the mind of the student. Due to your teaching, you have to develop the thinking ability of the student. Due to your teaching, you have to develop the recalling ability, retention ability of the student, right? You have to develop the asking the questions ability of the student, right? You have to develop the English of the student, in fact. Okay, you have to correct the pronunciation of the student even, right? How the student is pronounce the wrong word because teacher is not pronouncing the correct word. Are you getting my point? Knowledge acquired, second is knowledge acquired at this level forms the basis of the reflective level of teaching. Teacher presents subject matter before the student in an organized and sequential form. New knowledge acquired is related to the previous acquired knowledge. And last is, here the student do not learn by rote. Here they learn by understanding the facts and informations and their use and purposes, right? So guys, in a simple sense, whatever you are going to teach now, guys, okay, clear your concept first from every angle. Okay, reflect on it. Okay, whenever you are going into the class, think that student can ask this question, this question, this question, this questions. Okay, so you have to prepare all the questions. Okay, not only, guys, don't give importance of the content matter, right? Give importance to the student, right? Students are, more useful for you. The curiosity of the student is important for the teacher. You have to, क्या कहते हैं, शांत, उसको शांत करना है क्यूरियोसिटी को. दिस इज योर वर्क, राइट? अब क्या है, व्हाट आर द डिमेरिट्स ऑफ अंडरस्टैंडिंग लेवल ऑफ ए टीचिंग? ओके, क्या होता है, व्हाट इट टीचिंग एट दिस लेवल इज ए सब्जेक्ट सेंटर्ड. इट इज ए नॉट लर्नर सेंटर्ड. अगेन देखो, इट इज नॉट लर्नर सेंटर्ड. It does not develop higher level cognitive abilities such as problem solving, right? Means you can imagine, at this level of a teaching bina, you have to improve more, right? Even the understanding level of a teaching is not student centered, and not on the cognitive abilities, problem solving abilities. Means at this level of a teaching, abhi bhi student cannot solve his problem, right? Up next we do the reflective level of a teaching, right? Reflective level of a teaching is called the introspective level of teaching, right? Introspective means know as a whole, hana, know about, everything. This is the most advanced level of a teaching learning method. This is because teaching does not end until the student have grasped the idea. Most important, right? Because there is one quotation that teaching is not successful if the students do not grasp it fully, right? Teaching is not successful. So guys, this line, this quotations, you also have seen, okay, it has come from the reflective level of a teaching, right? So your teaching is not successful if the student does not grasp it fully. This is a more advanced stage in which the learner advances one step further through the concept to comprehend the concept's multiple dimensions. This is the level of instruction which the instructor encourages and stimulates students to think about and reflect on the content and concept they have learned, right? Yahi tha, when I started the topic of a teaching, I told you, I gave more emphasis on the what is the teaching, encouraging या arousing the learning power of the student or stimulating the learning power of the student. You don't have to give focus on the content. You have seen that many teachers, they have in this, I know each and everything, I will train every student. Actually, they have the content knowledge. They don't have the pedagogical knowledge. They don't have the teaching knowledge, guys. Teaching knowledge kya hoti hai? You should know about these, all the teaching methodology. Only then you can improve your teaching, right? Now you have come to know that from reflective level of teaching is that means you have to give emphasis on you have to encourage the student. You have to appreciate the student. You have to stimulate the learning power of the student, arousing the learning power of the student, and you have to make student to reflect on the things. Reflect का मतलब क्या होता है? चिंतन करना, right? उस particular thing के बारे में, right? उसकी length, breadth, you should know, from all the angles. That's why it is called multiple dimensions. However, reflective level is thoughtful mode of operation. It is called the thoughtful level. Learner centered. It is a learner centered, guys. Here teacher finishes his his ego, his dominance, his knowledge. Okay, now here what happens, the teacher says that I have to teach according to the level of the student. Okay, whatever the problem of the student, it is mine problem, right? Whatever is the curiosity of the students, I'm the persons who have to control the curiosity of the student, right? So here what happens, the teaching becomes the learner centered, right? Okay, teaching, it is a development of a problem solving skills. Okay, now the problem of a student becomes your problem, right? Only then the student likes you, and when the student started liking you, he automatically develops the learning things. Okay, guys, it is your misconception. Okay, sometimes the teacher says that due to my teaching, student has got a 90% marks. Earlier in all the classes, he was only getting the 50% marks, right? How he has got a 90% marks? It is because of his IQ level, right? And because of your teaching style, right? Maximum flexibility, development of creativity, and self motivation, right? So this is a reflective level of a teaching. So we are done with the all levels of teaching. Okay, again, one slide is left. Reflective level of a teaching is considered to be the highest level of teaching, right? It is a highly thoughtful and useful. Student can attain only after going through memory level and understanding level. Teaching at the reflective level enables the student to solve the real life problems. At this level, student is made to face a real problematic situation. The student, by understanding the situation and using his critical abilities, succeeds in solving the problem. Most important things, guys, critical abilities. You have to develop the critical abilities of the students by your teaching method. Okay, otherwise you are not a good teacher. At this level, emphasis is laid on identifying the problem, defining it, finding a solution. The students' original thinking and creative abilities develop at this level. The role of a teacher in this level is teaching is a democratic. अब teaching आपकी democratic बन गई. From dominance to it has become democratic. He does not force knowledge on the students, but develop in their talents and capabilities. Okay, now teacher is finding the talent of the student and guiding the student. Guys, if you will go in this field, you will succeed. The role of a student is quite active. Reflective level of a teaching is that which is a problem centered and student is busy in original imaginations, right guys? So thank you so much for this lecture. So it was the levels of teaching, right? So we are covered all the three levels: memory level of teaching, understanding level of a teaching, and reflective level of a teachings, along with its merits and demerits, right guys? So thank you so much for this lecture. So I'm going to stop the lectures. Thank you so much once again, students.